Good evening, friends. This is your host, to welcome you through the creaking door into the inner sanctum. This is the story of Willie Harper and the Devil, and how Willie, on his first assignment for the Morning Blade, finds himself at 2 a.m. sweating nervously in the murky shadows of a riverfront street in the lower city. Willie has a gun in his pocket, and a doll that belongs to a dead girl tucked under his arm. A block away, leaning against the one street, impassive, grotesque, ape-like, is the Devil, waiting for Willie.
I keep saying this is 1948, and I keep saying this is Manhattan, and I keep saying, whether you believe in the devil or not, you don't meet him until you're dead. But believe me, that's the devil over there under that lamp, at 3 o'clock. He's coming for me. Sure, you've got a right to think I'm crazy, standing around, waiting to be killed, with a doll underneath my arm. And this all started 10 days ago, or around 5 in the afternoon at the city morgue. Mick Grundy, the night editor, sent me there on my first assignment. The morgue, he said, was a good place. He said to start for stories.
Looks like you might be in luck soon.
How's that?
Come around the table. What's your name?
Will Harper.
All right, Willie. Come down to the coolers with me. Unless I'm very wrong, I've got a story in there for you. The girl in locker number 7, been here 4 days. Tomorrow we close the case on her.
What does that mean, Mr. Jackson?
It means in spite of everything the police have been able to do, they can't find out her name, where she lived, or anyone who knew her.
How was she found?
Tugboat crew fished her out of the East River. Tomorrow she goes to the city burial grounds in a plain box marked Jane Doe.
That's horrible. Just dying, nobody doing. Do you think she was murdered?
There's not a mark on her. Police say she wasn't, but I want you to look at her face and tell me what you think. This is Jane Doe. See, this is where they have her. I want you to see her face, Willie. Tell me what you see in it.
A strange emotion shook me. She didn't seem dead to me. Her skin was perfect ivory. Her hair was fine spun copper. Her lips twisted slightly. I blushed and turned away, imagining to myself what those lips must have looked like with life's color in them. Jackson led me back to his office without speaking. As I lit a shaky cigarette, he fished a brown paper bag out of his desk. He handed it to me, tilting it forward as I did so. Mama! What, the devil?
Yeah, and when they pulled her out, she was clutching this doll close to her. Even the doll hasn't helped trace her. The police are through with it.
Mr. Jackson, you don't think I'm nuts, but I suddenly feel sore boiling mad. I don't know why, but I think she was murdered. The look on her face.
Kind of asked you to help?
Yes.
A dead girl nobody wants in a doll. There's your story, Willie. Too bad you didn't know her before.
Yeah. Thanks.
Here, take the doll along with you.
I beat it back to the paper on fire to do a story about the dead girl and her doll. As I gave Mick Grundy my report, he stared at me. When I got through, he had a sort of twisted grin on his face. Sort of a know-it-all. He grunted and tilted the paper wrapped all forward.
Mama! Think she was murdered, huh?
Yes.
The cops don't think so.
No.
They're closing her case tomorrow.
Yep.
No clues, facts, or anything outside of this doll?
None.
All right, Hopper, I will give you another day to find the nasty character who did this horrible thing. Cops have been wrong before. Go ahead.
Thanks, I'll get the story.
Haha. Take the doll along and keep falling for the dead ones, Harper. You're better off.
Half hour later, disgusted by my own morbidity, I went to my room before going out to eat. Slammed the door and tossed the doll into a chair. I couldn't shake the feeling that the nameless girl in the morgue had something to say to me. If only the doll could talk. Tell me about her. What was she like? Was her voice Soft? Was she kind? Who was cruel to her? Where did she live? Who killed her dog? Who? I grinned sheepishly at myself in the mirror, and at that gesture, the story really begins. The next few moments remain electrifyingly vivid. I had set the doll down on the bureau. I didn't touch it. Wasn't even looking at it. When a new sound came from it.
Nana.
I stared at the crumpled, ridiculous little fool, almost afraid to touch it again, but I had to. I picked it up and tilted it limply. Karanana. That was what I had heard, a sound. A sound only? No, somehow I thought it was more than a sound. A name, maybe, a name. Because I didn't want to stay alone with the doll any longer, and, having a hunch. I stuffed the doll back in its bag and went back to the paper. I went straight to the reference room files, the doll stuffed under my arm.
What are you looking for?
I want to know if you've got anything in the files on some name, Karanana, spelled with a K or a C.
Huh.
What's funny? You seem amused.
Don't tell me he's around again. If you've got a lead on Karanana, you've got some story.
Oh? Oh, will he give me the clips on him?
I'll get you Myers Anthropology. I'm sure he's in there.
Anthropology? Why, who is he?
The devil.
Karanana. Of course, an almost forgotten myth from Asia. Lucifer on Earth, wearing out one body after another, walking the earth always. I remember it now from college. I decided on a long walk down Fifth Avenue, my head whirling with a maddening conflict. I think I would have given up the whole thing, but always at the point of going home to bed or chucking the blasted doll in a can. The face of the girl in the morgue blanked out of their thoughts. When I reached Washington Square, it was dusk. The sidewalk artists were packing up their canvases as I passed them. All but one, that is. He was a tall, angular man with a completely bald head, whose 4 or 5 paintings had the advantage of a streetlight. The man paid no attention to me until, at the sight of one painting, I stiffened in utter shock.
What's the matter, my friend? The stuff that bad?
That one, the one with the girl.
Woman with a doll, I like to call it. Like it?
Who's the girl? Do you know her name? Tell me.
Sorry, I'm selling oil paintings, friend. I'm at a dating bureau.
No, you've got me all wrong. I've got a good reason for asking. Look, I'll prove it. Here. Isn't this the doll you painted with the girl?
Where'd you get that? I haven't seen Hazel in a week. She left for the coast. I gave her that doll to pose with. What's wrong?
Hazel is dead.
Where is she?
If I tell you, will you promise to say nothing for a while? I'm a reporter for The Blade. My name is Will Harper.
I won't say anything unless I believe you had something to do with it. Where is she?
Take you to her. She's at the city morgue. An hour later, we came out of the morgue. Both cousins had simply nodded at my questioning look. Seeing the girl again, knowing her name now, added to the emotions I already felt for her. I had a sudden impulse as we stood in the street. I handed the artist Hazel's doll.
Are you going to give me the doll?
No, I want it back. But I want you to tilt it, make it cry. What did that sound like to you? What did you hear?
The doll said, Karanana.
You heard it too. Say it again. Say that name again. What did...
I distinctly heard it say Karanana.
Oh man, then I'm not crazy. And do you know who Karanana is, Mr. Cousins?
I'm afraid I do. It's the most fantastic coincidence I've ever encountered.
Oh, why?
Do you know who Karanana is?
The devil?
Quite. I think we could better go to my place and talk this out. Certainly, if what I think is true, then no one will believe us.
Oh, what do you think?
That Hazel was murdered by Kara Nana.
I followed Bo Cousins silently along the dark streets of the lower city. His long legs led us finally to a dingy, narrow, fish-foul street, where we climbed an outside stair to a warehouse.
I met her at the mission house. Conceived the idea of painting her with the doll. Somehow that seemed right to me.
Go on.
Well, we worked here for 3 weeks on the painting. I paid her enough so that she could go to California. A dream of hers. One night, we walked the streets nearby. Karanana appeared.
Karanana.
Yes, Karanana. A man who calls himself Karanana, the devil, or the human form of the devil, however you choose to think.
There can't be such a thing. The devil is just a myth.
Is he? I met him in Istanbul 8 years ago in a cafe. I did a painting of him.
Oh, what's he like?
Squat, massive man, ape-like. As I painted him, he admitted to me such crimes I could hardly hold my brush.
Like what?
He made his living as a professional murderer. Very discreetly, very cleverly, very effectively.
Oh, why didn't you turn him in?
Haha, really now. I like to paint and to live. I was so pleased with the picture I made and gave him, so that he told me any time I needed to rid myself of some embarrassing person he'd been around.
Lucky you, but who'd believe that story?
We do, Willie, and that's the important thing. Do you have any spare cash?
Why?
I have about $150. If you can make up the difference, I think we can claim Hazel's body and give her a decent burial.
Fixed it up with Jackson at the morgue. At 3 that afternoon, Bo Cousins and I, plus 2 gravediggers in the city cemetery, were watching a bright new casket being lowered into a new grave.
Man that is born of woman hath but a short time to live, and is full of misery. He cometh up and is cut down like a flower. He fleeth as it were a shadow, and never continueth in one stay. In the midst of life we are in death.
Thanks, Bo.
I liked it too, Willie. Very much. You're a nice guy, Willie. Wouldn't you rather go now?
No, let's wait until she's covered over. I want to talk to you. I've just got an idea. I know how to get Karanana.
And I will be very glad to see that you're buried next to Hazel here.
I see things a lot clearer now that Hazel has a name and a past for me. If there's a man named Karanana, as you say, I think he's human, and that's an even chance.
Maybe Karanana isn't the one.
And we'll find out. In any case, do you want to help?
In any way, short of being discreetly disposed of. Yes.
Swell. Karanana said he'd do a little job for you whenever you wanted him.
Yes.
Then you get in touch with him and...
Sorry, Willie. My merchant of death is unreachable. When he shows up when he wants to.
Alright, I'll wait. But when he does, you've got a murder for him to do.
I have? Who?
Me. That was a week ago. An exciting week for me, covering all sorts of stuff in the paper. I had begun thinking that Bo Cousins was an imaginative phony. Even my editor, Mick Grundy, had stopped kidding me about Hazel's doll perched on my desk. Then this morning at 9:30, I got a call. Good morning, Blade. Willie Harper here.
Greetings and farewell, Willie. This is Bo Cousins.
No, what's up?
The devil is in town, Willie. He wants to see you.
Karanana.
Yes, I saw him last night. He was delighted to help me get rid of you.
I see.
I told him you were a reporter planning a story about art, which tore my work to pieces. What's the matter, Willie? Change your mind?
No. Did he say where?
He never lets his clients on the details, but he did say I'd be rid of you by 3 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Thanks, Bo. I'll be seeing you.
Quite seriously, Willie, I hope so. Remember, bullets don't work on some things. Bye-bye.
By 3 this morning, he said. I didn't know where, exactly when or if we could get the drop on the devil and force the truth about Hazel out of him. I stuffed the doll into a bag and started out, but McGrundy caught me.
Harper.
Yeah?
Woman shot through the back of the head playing solitaire at I-47. Parkway North. Husband with her. Go out on it, phone it in.
Right. When I hit the lobby downstairs, an accountable chill caught me in the small of the back. Something made me stop short and turn around. It was my first look at Karanana. He was leaning against a phone booth. A heavy-set, ill-shaped man, whose arms sloped weirdly from his neck to a heavy stump. He was eyeing me impassively. The game was on. I knew. I grabbed a cab to get my story just the same. I phoned the stuff in from the cigar store across the street. When I stepped out of the booth, Karanana had just bought some cigarettes. He turned to me as I froze waiting.
Some murder across the street, huh?
Yeah, how'd you know?
I get around.
Murder a hobby of yours, mister?
No, it's strictly business. So long.
That's the kind of thing that went on all day. McGrundy kept me on the hop no matter where I went. Karanana was there ahead of me. This afternoon, I got to my room long enough to pick up my Luger pistol and the license I have to carry it. He was waiting for me when I came out.
Better put it inside your coat pocket. It shows on your hip. Be seeing you.
It's 2:45 now. 15 minutes, and he hasn't moved from under that lamppost in 2 hours. I'm not waiting. I'm not waiting another minute. I'm going to meet the devil and have it done with. He doesn't move. Will a bullet do it? Can I trick him into admitting Hazel's murder, or will he kill me first? Well, here I am.
Yeah, I see. What can I do for you?
It's almost 3 o'clock.
You know, you're right. Time sure flies. Well, it's time for me to get on home. I guess. So long, Willie.
It's a trick, a fiend's trick. He's leaving me with only a few minutes to go. I've got to stop this. I can't go through with it. I'll go to Bo's place. I'll tell him to call it off. I don't want to die.
Willie?
Bo, I was running for your place.
I thought you might be down this way. You look scared to death, and you should be, I guess.
I've got to hide, Bo. Let's beat it somewhere. It's almost 3.
All right. Quick across the street, Willie. There's a broken-down pier down there. It's dark here, Willie. We'll be safe for a while. You've certainly worked yourself up. Is that the door there?
Hey, yeah, I don't know why I carried it.
I'm glad you did. You have your gun with you?
Yeah, my Luger.
Let me have it. You're too wrought up.
Here.
Good. Now be still a moment.
It's 3 o'clock.
Yes, 3 o'clock. time for us to part.
What do you mean?
You are not very an astute person, are you, Willie?
Why?
Maybe Hazel's doll can tell you.
You? No, Bo, this is crazy.
The same water that received Hazel is at your back, Willie. The same time is 3, and tomorrow you'll be fished out with a doll under your arm.
You're Karanana.
Quite. Very well, Willie. Hazel, poor sweet child, learned the same truth by accident.
You dirty, filthy.
Farewell, Willie, and you shall take your...
Drop him. I said drop him.
No, I will not. Karanana never dies.
How's the head feel now, Willie?
Better, McGrundy. My professional pride hurts more.
Well, it needn't. You followed through like an old-timer, didn't he, Inspector McShay?
How could I have taken you for the devil, Inspector McShay?
Oh, I've been called worse.
How did you know where I was going to be through all that? Where I was going to be in the end?
Well, I cover the morgue, Willie. When a young guy decides to claim a corpse, it's time to follow up on it. You seemed okay, but Cousins turned out to be wanted as a professional killer.
So you tagged me to get to him?
Yeah, he was after you, but there was no doubt about it. Oh, here's the door, Willie.
Yeah. Huh. I tilt the doll and nothing happens. No sound.
Must be broke.
I guess she doesn't have to speak anymore, Mr. McGrundy. I think the doll is dead.
Hey, wanna buy a doll? I will sell it to you, but there will be the devil to pay. Take a tip from Willie Harper. There is no romance at the morgue. You'll only find cold, hard figures. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got a date with Hazel's doll. She promised to help me in a grave situation. I've just got to dig up something for next week's show. I think if we work hard enough, we'll turn something up. Don't you? Good night, and pleasant dreams. Tonight's Inner Sanctum Mystery, Death of a Doll, was written by Fred Matho.